been using Castor now for about 2 or 3 years, just on pains and injuries. But lately I've been using Castor oil on my skin, and I've also been doing liver packs to improve the health of my liver, and that's what I'm talking about today. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I talk about lots of things to do with the carnivore diet, because I've been eating a carnivore diet now for almost 2 years. But I also talk about other things to do with my health and my health journey and what I'm trying and using and all the rest of it. So today I'm talking about castor oil, and castor oil is becoming quite a big thing, and there's a lot of people talking about it, but it's actually been around for thousands of years, and I've known about it for a long time, but it took me a long time to actually try it. So first of all, I thought I'd talk about a little bit about the history of castor oil and what it actually is. So the castor oil is oil from the castor bean, which grows on a castor plant. Now, the castor bean is very, very toxic. If you eat 1 or 2 of those beans, it will kill you because it contains a substance called ricin, which is very, very toxic. So when they make the castor oil, they have to put it through a process to remove that ricin. And then it becomes this stuff that just creates amazing benefits for our bodies. And so, as I said, it's been used for a very long time. So they have actually found castor oil in Egyptian tombs dating back as far as 4,000 years. And they've also found evidence that it was used as a poison dating back as far as 24,000 years, and that was in South Africa, where they found a stick with wax and ricin on it that looks like it was used maybe to apply ricin to probably arrows or hunting equipment. So the whole plant has been used historically, so the leaves, the roots, and the latex, as well as the seeds, has been used. So a lot of people kind of my age or a little bit older know castor oil as being something that was often taken by families weekly. We didn't have it in our family, but probably people a little bit older did often. So the parents would give it to the children, and that was to remove worms and just to clean out the gut and for its health benefits. It is the ricinoleic acid that makes castor oil beneficial, or that's what's thought to make it beneficial. I'm sure there's other substances in there as well, but that's what they know about, and that's what's been studied. When I went and had a look to find what sort of research I could find on castor oil, there actually isn't a whole lot. There's a little bit, and I'll pop a couple of links below to a couple of research articles that I found on. The castor oil has many benefits in our body, and some of those have been confirmed by research, as you'll see if you have a look at those research articles that I've popped down below. It is anti-inflammatory, so it helps with injuries and pain, and that was what I first started using it for. So I actually bought some maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess, and I had injured my shoulder, and I used it on my shoulder, and it had an amazing benefit. So I just made up a castor oil pack and popped it on my shoulder and left it there for, I don't know, an hour or a couple of hours, and did that a couple of days, and it made a massive difference. And I think that's where it works best for that sort of thing. From my own experiences, if you have an acute injury where you have strained muscle or maybe torn muscle fibers slightly, it works really, really well, but it can help to lower inflammation and all sorts of pain and injuries in muscles and joints and connective tissue. So it is also antifungal and can be used on toenail fungus by applying it to the nails that have the fungal condition. And so it is antiherpetic, which means that it works against the herpes virus. It is also anthelmintic, which means that it expels worms and parasites. It is antibacterial. It is laxative, so if you take it internally, it will make you go to the toilet. It's apparently quite a harsh way to do that, but people used to do it all the time. It's not such a common practice these days, I don't think, though. It is diuretic, so it helps to remove excess water from the body. It is abortifacient. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So do not use this if you are pregnant or if you're wanting to get pregnant, because it can cause miscarriages. So as I said, I started using it for injuries, and then more recently I've started using it on my skin. And I've actually, because I make tallow balm and I use that, and then I've always used olive oil to make my tallow balm, but I actually made a couple of batches with castor oil in it, so we've been using that on our skin, both hubby and I. I think it gives a bit more of a plumpness to the skin, but I haven't noticed a huge difference at this stage. I've been using straight castor oil a bit more over the last couple of weeks, and so we'll see how that goes over time with this 60-year-old skin. I have also been using it, used it a few times just recently on a breast cyst. So this is something that I've not had a problem with before, and it's unusual, I think, to have it at my stage of life. But what happened was I noticed one day that, this was a few weeks ago, that I had this huge bruise on one of my breasts. And nothing had happened to it. I hadn't had any kind of injury or accident or anything, and there was nothing that was really kind of noticeable apart from this big yellow bruise. So it looked like an old bruise kind of. And then the bruise was there for probably about a week, and then I noticed eventually that there was a lump there. And so this lump had, as though something had happened suddenly, and it had kind of come up and caused this bruise. And so doing a bit of delving into information, I've come to the conclusion that it is a cyst of some sort. I suspect that it may be to do with the oxalate crystals that have been moving around in my breasts, because I have done videos about them coming out of my breast tissue since I've been on carnivore. I don't have many coming out now, but they still do occasionally, and so I'm wondering if it's something to do with that. But also looking at the kind of mainstream information, it says that it's normally with women that are postmenopausal, which I'm very definitely postmenopausal by about 15 years or so. It can be sudden hormonal changes. So I'm wondering if it's to do with my diet and just the things that are changing in my body. It may also be so it's to do with, from what I can gather as well, kind of a stagnant lymph system sometimes, which my lymphatic system has always been an issue, like all my life. And as I've spoken about in recent videos, I've kind of realised that I have lipedema. Now, I've had quite severe fibrocystic breasts in the past, and iodine kind of cleared those up a bit, but I'd noticed that there was a bit of that kind of lumpiness and everything again there recently, and I started taking iodine every day for a little bit, and then noticed some stuff going on that I wasn't quite sure of, because I've become quite sensitive to iodine. I was actually ended up with an overactive thyroid from taking iodine when I took it years ago, when I noticed the change in the fibrocystic breasts. And so I'm quite I'm a little bit iffy about taking iodine, so I stopped taking it, and now I'm just taking it twice a week. And so I'm wondering if that is maybe changing something. And also, I also had to wonder whether it's because I've been using my rebounder, and because that gets the whole lymph system moving. And so I've been using that for a few weeks now, trying to get on there most days, at least a few times a week. And so I kind of wonder whether it was something to do with that. I don't really know. But it's there, and it was about that size, so about the size of a kind of large grape, and that I could feel it, and I could kind of feel it kind of something up further as well. And so I used castor oil on I actually got an organic sanitary pad, and then I ended up cutting a piece of a woolen old wool and possum sock, and I put the castor oil on there and put it inside my bra, and I wore it for a few days, and I've stopped at the moment because it's made a mess of my bras, and but it actually seems to be getting smaller, so it's probably only about that size now, you can see there. So it's probably reduced in size by about half. So it seems to be going okay, but I'll see how it goes, and I may end up doing castor oil packs on both of my breasts, and starting to do those fairly regularly, because it can really help with the lymphatic flow in the breasts and helps to keep the breast tissue healthy and with circulation and everything else. So I bought myself a castor oil pack for my liver just recently, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the main topic of this video, and so I've been using that. So I'm kind of figuring that I could probably use that across both breasts as well, and just bind it up with maybe some cling wrap on top of that or whatever. I think the reason it took me so long to actually try castor oil, and I think this is probably fairly common, is that, not knowing how to do a castor oil pack. It seems like it's going to be really hard, and it's actually really easy, because all you're doing is putting some castor oil onto a piece of cloth and finding a way to attach that to your body. So this is my castor oil pack that I bought, and they have, you can get all different types for different areas of your body, just depending on where you're wanting to use your castor oil. You can get them for your thyroid gland, you can get them for your arms or legs, or different shapes and different fittings. But if you're keen, you can make your own, or you can just use some cloth to do it. So this is the one that I bought here in New Zealand, and as you can see, it's a decent size, and I'm not sure why it has a pocket. I haven't quite worked that out. So you can see it has a zip pocket on it, and it's got so this one has elastic straps that go around your body and just button up. So there's 2 buttons here. It actually stays on really well in bed. I wasn't sure whether it would or not, but I found that it does stay on really well. It just has a sort of cottony fabric on the inside, and that's where you put your castor oil. So you just put your castor oil on it and let it soak in, and then put it onto your body. And so, as I was saying, I could probably use this for my chest and just tie it up or bind it up with some plastic wrap, and that would help to keep it on. And so I may actually do that sometime in the next few days and see how that goes. My pack is getting a little bit oil logged, and I think that's why it actually leaked, and I probably put too much on there because I tend to be a bit heavy-handed with just about everything, really. So that was the breast thing. Now the liver, I have been doing that now for a week, and I've been working on my gallbladder health, and I've talked about that in other videos just recently. And my liver, I had my liver function tested just about 3 weeks ago maybe, and that everything was fine there. So as far as my blood tests are concerned, everything's optimal with my liver. But blood tests are they're just kind of a gauge. You really don't, they're not necessarily saying that your liver's in perfect condition. So I decided to do the liver packs as well, and because I'm was wanting to make sure that my gallbladder was all working properly and everything as well. The reason for using the castor oil on my liver, and the reason that probably most people should use it on their livers, is that fatty liver disease is so common these days. It's estimated that 50% of the US population has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and even children are getting it these days because just of the diets, the processed food and the sugar and the seed oils and all the rest of it. And so, I can say with some certainty that I would have had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease before I started on the carnivore diet. And even though my blood tests have come back and said that things are good now, I kind of suspect that there's still not as great as it could be. And obviously, because I've had changes using the castor oil packs, then things are improving. So there was still improvement that could be had. And so I think that, using a castor oil pack on your liver is a really good idea. You can use it regularly to start with, and then just do it once a week or whatever. And that's my plan going forward, is to keep doing it every night for a while, or as often as I can. And then, just gradually reduce it down to, once a week, once a fortnight, whatever, a few times a week, just depending on what I think is going on in my body. So the liver packs, since I've been doing them, what I've noticed is, so I've been putting them on. I had done a couple prior, maybe 3 or 4 over the last few weeks, just for an hour or so at night time, because I wanted to see how my body would react. And then once I got my proper liver pack thing, I started putting it on at night time before I went to bed, and I've been wearing it all night for the last 7 nights. And the things that have changed have been kind of interesting. So my sleep has really improved, and my sleep wasn't bad, but I had been waking up at night time. When I first started on the carnivore diet, I stopped having to get up to pee at night. Prior to carnivore, I'd been getting up at least twice every night for quite a while, and it was driving me a bit nuts. And then that all stopped, and it stopped for quite a long time. But I found that over a bit of time, I was having to get up again, usually once at night, and it was kind of early hours of the morning. And that's stopped since I've been using the castor oil packs, except for last night. So last night I had a little bit of a different experience, and I think I know why. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But I've stopped having to get up to go to the toilet at night time, and my sleep has been really, really deep. And I've just, if I do wake up, it's only for a few seconds and boom, back to sleep again, because I've actually got a problem with my shoulder and that wakes me up sometimes. But I've found even the last few nights that hasn't been enough to wake me up because my sleep has been kind of so deep apart from last night. And the reason that I think that it was different last night was because I did a 45-hour fast, and that's the first longer fast that I've done in quite a long time. And so I kind of suspect that maybe because I'd been fasting and then I ate last night, that my liver was just under a little bit more stress again, because when you're detoxing, then that's going to put a little bit more load on your liver, and when you're fasting. So I kind of figured that that's what that was. Whereas the night before, when I was actually fasting and hadn't had anything to eat, I was so tired. I had to go to bed earlier than I normally do, and I slept like the dead that night. It was quite incredible. And I think again because I was fasting and I hadn't eaten anything, and it was the first day of my fast, my body was just doing its healing thing, and your body will make you sleep when it's really healing a lot of things. And so I'm kind of picking that that's what was going on. And then because I ate, I broke my fast about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and had a small something to eat, just some eggs, and then I had dinner a couple of hours later. Then that kind of puts more load on the liver. So I'm kind of picking that that's what was going on. I'll see. It'll be interesting to see how I go tonight. But I'm going to start doing some longer fasts, and so I will keep doing the liver packs. The only problem with it is that I put too much castor oil on one night, and I've had leakage out of it onto my pajamas. So wear something old if you're going to do castor oil packs, because it's so far I haven't had any success in getting it out of my clothing. When I've got it on there, it seems to be very persistent and want to stay. So that's the changes that I've had so far using castor oil, the castor oil liver pack, and using the castor oil for that breast cyst and on my skin. So I'll pop some links below. I'll link below to the where I bought my castor oil and my castor oil pack from here in New Zealand, and I'll also put links to what seems to be the best brand, like in the United States, and that where I would buy it from if I was living over there, and their liver packs and things like that. You can make your own castor oil liver packs just out of woolen fabric. You want really undyed fabrics, woolen fabric, or some cotton or something like that you can have multiple layers. The reason that I went for the liver pack buying it was I was hoping that it wouldn't leak through as much, because which it doesn't seem to, but it kind of leaked out the bottom, and it's a bit across the bottom. So I might end up having to give it a wash and get rid of some of the castor oil out of it and kind of start again maybe in the next week or two. But when I'm doing my packs, I just keep adding more castor oil to them as they kind of seem like they need it. So that's the way that I do it, and it seems to work pretty well. So if you have used castor oil packs, let me know in the comments below. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away, and I'll get to those as soon as I can. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video and share with anyone who might be interested. I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.